Hey everyone, what's going on? Dave Kettner here. It is the last day of March. It's March 31st, 2023. And I was actually going to do a video today regarding this topic, but I actually came across some news last night late and then more information here today. And I just have to get this out there because this is too important not to. And like I said, I've been screaming from the rooftops to you guys to be aware of what's happening right now, to protect yourself, to protect your assets, to protect your wealth, your everything that's going on in your family, things, make sure you are prepared, that sort of thing. So I want to switch over to my computer right now, show you some of these stories that I just found, some people I listened to, and then I want to just educate you a little bit about the banking system, what banks are doing, and what the possible problems that could be happening down the road here. So this here is from the Health Ranger, one of the podcasts that I follow. I just keep abreast with a lot of different podcasts. That's where I get my news. That's where I know what's going on. I don't listen to the news on the TV. That's the worst place to find out what's going on because that's, in my opinion, a bunch of hogwash, all a bunch of lies. There's a reason why they call it the fake news. All right, we have to get our news ourselves, and we get it from real people that are reporting. And this is coming from Mike Adams with the Health Ranger report, and this caught my eye as soon as I saw it come across my updates here. It says, banks to limit withdrawals to stop bank runs that are caused by customer behavior. So what is this all about? So I listened to this and listened to what Mike was talking about. I'll put a link to his video in the description down below. But basically, this is something that I've been saying that we need to worry about, right? Because it is something regarding the limitations on our withdrawals. And see, what happens is the banks, if we actually try to go out there and get the money that we have in our account, there is not enough money in the banks for us all to pull out all our money at once. Most people will be like, what are you talking about? A bank, you think of a bank as having these big vaults of cash and, they're sitting there holding all that money. It's the farthest from the truth, because what happens is the banks, they take our money and then they leverage that money that we put into deposit into their banks to invest in other things. And they invest in a lot of the same things that we do. They invest in precious metals and in stock market, in bonds, all kinds of different things, right? And what happens is, because they leverage this, they're so leveraged out in the different things. This is why banks can get in trouble. All right. In fact, a lot of people don't even realize this, but in December 2020, when the whole pandemic thing was going on, that the requirement of banks to the amount of cash that they needed to hold in their bank accounts, in their vaults, basically, of their deposits, was 10% prior to that. Then, for some reason, they changed it to be, guess what? 0% requirement. So the banks right now have a 0% requirement to hold any of your cash in their bank. All right. Now they do, because they don't want to go curp up and just, people, they don't have money, because then everyone go nuts, right? But if all of us try to go and pull out their cash, they do not have it. All right. And this is why you're hearing things about these bank runs. That's why a few weeks ago with SVB Bank and these other banks, Signature Bank, that went down, when they found, people found out that there was issues going on, more and more people tried to pull out their money. Well, the cash wasn't there. All right. If you look back in history, and I'm going to, just give you a little bit of history lesson here. If you were to go back in history and just see when things collapse, when there be economic collapse, maybe the stock market when it collapsed in 1929, when regimes, when countries were collapsing, you start seeing a lot of the same signs that we're seeing right now. One of them is, one of the first warning signs or later warning signs is banks limiting your withdrawals per day to stop the bank run. Well, that's basically sounding right. Wait a second, that means we don't have enough money to give you. All right. That's a problem. Like I said, in history, you'll see that this has been a writing on the wall, that their banks and the systems, governments were having issues, and after that, things just went haywire, went crazy. All right, so what are you going to do to protect yourself against that? I have more to share about that in a little bit. I've been talking about it in a lot of videos. I also want to share here about this. I did a little research here about how much cash does a bank really keep on hand. Right, I'll share this article here in the description. It was from a year ago, but it's very relevant to today. And you'll see that small banks usually carry 50,000 or less on hand, and the bigger banks, maybe 200,000. And that was a year ago. I think it's probably not quite the same now. But if you were to try to take money out, here's what the problem's going to be. See how much money is stored in a bank. This graph shows that banks hold 75 billion in their vaults at any moment, which translates, get this, to about $230 for each US resident. Wait a second. I know that if I want to go get some money on my account, I'm going to try to pull a lot more than $230, right? So what happens if all of us say, I need to go down and pull $1,000 out of my account because I need to have some emergency cash at home? Just that would be a run on the bank. There isn't enough money if everyone were to do that, if you have $1,000 in your account. But if you start thinking about this, you start realizing, okay, I see what they're talking about here. So a bank run is people saying, hey, I want my money back, but yet the banks don't have it. That's a problem. All right, so what are you going to do to protect yourself? One of the things I follow here is Telegram. I love Telegram. I get a lot of information from that. And I actually got this here from Pepelize Matter, Ultra Pepelize Matter here in Telegram. And this was posted yesterday as well. And you see here they have a picture of the design, one of the things that's on our dollar that if you do some research into, you'll realize it's not based on some really nice things here. Let me just move this down a little bit here. It says this fake petrodollar is currently on life support as China and Brazil have agreed to ditch the currency with the all-seeing eye. Do people realize that America, controlled by the deep state pharaohs of our time, invaded countries just to stop them from escaping the central bank debt control system? Yet here we are at the age of something very biblical in scale. There's no telling what will happen in the next few decades, but it sure seems to me like Babylon is falling one way or another. Okay, and so that's, again, just one person's opinion there. But yeah, like he talks about the all-seeing eye, it's not good at all. But when you start digging into the Fed, what they are, and the Fed is not a government agency, just so you know. Government, you think, a lot of people think, oh yeah, the Fed's the government. No, it's private banks that came together and basically they printed money for us, which is a debt note. It's not even the US dollar. It's a US federal debt note. Read it. Look at your dollar and see what it says on it. It's a debt reserve note. All right. There's a reason why this system needs to change. It needs to change soon. We are seeing writing on the wall for that to happen. So anyway, what I would recommend, again, I'm not a financial advisor, right? Know that. But what I'm trying to say is prepare. I think everyone should have a lot of things at home, just as prep in case something were to go down. I would expect, I would prepare myself, or I would ask you to prepare to have some cash on hand. Some cash in case our banks are closed and we can't take it out, or we have limits on what we can take it out. You might want some cash at home. All right, some hard assets like silver, gold. Silver is going to be easier to trade, and in my opinion, it's much more undervalued than gold, but they're both undervalued. Okay, investing in that is a good thing, but also having some coins. I have 1 ounce silver coins here on hand that each one of these right now is worth almost $25, and people will know what that is. So even if things are going crazy, with the US dollar still being, people understand it, or an ounce of gold, we can see what it's worth, and people know that it's going to hold its value. And also, you want to make sure you have food, water, that sort of thing. Most people don't have these things on hand. Remember when the whole pandemic started in 2020? All of a sudden, there was no toilet paper on the shelves. The first thing you go out, toilet paper and wipes and sanitizer stuff. Gone. Right? What happens if you didn't prep more than a week in advance? You're going to have to find another way to clean yourself after you go to the bathroom, right? That was a eye-opener for a lot of people, but yet people are still not prepping in advance, all right? I'm telling you, make sure you do that, because we see the writing on the wall here. You see the storm coming, prep for it. You don't want the storm to hit and then you're not ready for you and your family. Now, I've been talking about silver. Today is Friday, so we closed silver today. Again, up another 1.03%. It is now up to 23 and a half. And it just keeps, so today, boom, it just kept on going up. In fact, if we look at this week here, if I do a 5-day chart, we'll see that it just continues to go up and up and up. Now, is it going to continue to do this? No, nothing ever goes up and up and up, right? But the path continues on the upside. And, since I've been telling you about this, it continues to be more and more value. So, and I still think it's undervalued. And this is something that will hold its value over time. Like I said, precious metals have always held their value. Get some. Get this. I talk about Liberty Dollar. If you want to, get some silver on hand, you want to get some digitally based assets that are on the price of silver, the spot price, I look in the description, get a free account with Liberty Dollar, set it up, take some action with this, because, we never know when all of a sudden, right now the banks are saying, hey, you can't pull out a certain amount of funds a day. What happens when they say, the banks are closed and you don't have any cash in your wallet or anything saved at home? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? All right, so prep in advance. And that's my main thing today. We're seeing stuff out there. Now, if you listen to the talking heads on the TV, oh, everything's great, everything's fine, blah, 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 don't worry. That's when you worry. Take the opposite of what you're hearing on the TV and, take action, because we have to be responsible for ourselves and our family. We can't be reliant on the government. I'm hoping if what you have seen over the last few years, if you haven't seen that yet, you still want to be relying on the government, hey, that's your own prerogative. For me, I'm going to take ownership of my own life and prep myself and my family for possible things that may happen down the road here. So with that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I probably won't have another video on this topic until Monday, and who knows what could happen on the weekend. But I hope you enjoy this video. If you enjoy it, please like it. It helps get the message out to other people, to help get them to prep in advance. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and click that bell button to get notified when I have more videos that come out. So and then the links, like I said, down below, check them out. The links to these articles that I'm sharing will be in the description. The link to open up a Liberty Dollar account, if you don't have one yet, get on that. You can start right away. Look into it. Even just go ahead and create the account for free. Get in there and see what it is all about. Do your research. Always go out and do your due diligence. Make sure that you know what you're doing, what you're getting yourself into. And again, just don't sit there. Don't put your head in the sand with this one. Prepare in advance and make sure that you are ready for anything that's about to happen down the road here. And who knows? It could happen tomorrow. It could happen a year from now. But prep in advance and be ready. All right? So that said, you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to catching you next week. Take care.